what has happened in the past couple of years is there has been pretty much stagnant or marginal growth in the total assets in the Islamic finance world. This is due to various factors. One is the economy or the oil industry has pretty much been depressed over the last few years, which has greatly affected the economies of the GCC countries, where Islamic finance is a prominent contributing financial industry. Uh, Due to the oil prices and the depression in the oil industry, there has been low economic growth within the GCC countries, pretty much post the real estate crisis of 2010. So it has seen pretty low growth over the last few years. Adding to this, the COVID impact has led to an Islamic finance being the way it is structured has basically been led by large investments and large lending against real estate, land, which all have seen a large amount of losses, especially as far as mark to market is concerned. In predominantly Islamic countries, also what has happened is Islamic finance basically leads or is a leader in SME lending, microfinancing, individual lending. And these are the areas that have got impacted a lot. So due to multitude of factors, there has been an impact in the Islamic finance world over the past few years. Now looking ahead, and obviously we want to just point out some of the factors which may again kickstart, which might contribute towards a fair growth. And what S&P also says is, despite all these factors, it expects Islamic industry to have single-digit growth starting 2021. There have been a couple of key developments in the Islamic finance industry over the past 5 to 7 years. One has been the establishment of certain key international bodies which have become more prominent over the past 5-7 years. One of them is AOFI, the Accounting and Auditing Organization of Islamic Financial Institutions, and another is the IIFM, which is the International Islamic Financial Markets. What has happened is that they have brought about standardization in certain interpretations of Islamic finance and framework. This has then been adopted by certain bodies in countries like UAE, for example, established the Higher Sharia Authority under the gambit of the central bank. And they've been then working along with AOFI and international bodies to ensure that there is standardized interpretation of the Islamic framework. Earlier, what used to happen was interpretation was left to the Sharia board and a few individuals who sit there. And this often caused different interpretations, caused confusion in the minds of the end customers, led to a lot of differentiated products, not necessarily in a good way, but what was being offered by one financial institution was not offered by the other, so there was no consistency. So having these Islamic bodies and consistent interpretation of the Islamic finance products and services is a huge help in terms of ensuring that it becomes easy for consumers and end customers to understand the standards, the framework, and so on and so forth. The second aspect is looking ahead. What are the key contributors that are going to be contributing, or what is going to be factoring into the growth of Islamic finance? One is definitely innovation and innovative products. COVID has basically fast-tracked a lot of digital innovation and implementation of digital channels, digital banking, digital products, servicing, so on and so forth, has given a huge push to that. And Islamic finance also, institutions need to take that digital innovation and move ahead to ensure that it keeps with it the younger generation, the more digitally focused generation along with it on its track. Another technology is the blockchain technology, which has been prominent in the payments, remittances, and the trade finance industry, which is again very relevant to the Islamic finance industry. Third is the product innovation, working with international bodies. It needs to ensure that the new products and the services that come in interest the young population of Islamic finance users. It ensures it keeps pace with the launch of new products and services in a conventional industry. Islamic finance needs to look at markets where it can grow, or blocks of regions where it can grow. And one such region could be the Far East. Central Asia is another block with a lot of Muslim countries and Muslim population, which is growing fast. And lastly, but not the least, the North and East Africa block is where a lot of Islamic finance institutions are now looking to grow, besides its key markets in the GCC, the Middle East, Malaysia, and Indonesia. All having said, basically what's happening now is Islamic finance working with the bodies of AOFI, IIFM, putting a standardized framework, putting innovative products, digital innovation into play, is looking to now grow into newer markets, widen its reach, and based on which it has got quite a positive outlook even from Standard and Poor's in terms of over the next 5 years, it expects faster growth than what it expects from the conventional banking industry.